You're tuned to the Paracasual Destiny Podcast, episode 53. Well, hello everyone. You're listening to our Casual Destiny Podcast. Welcome everyone, from beginners all the way up to hardcore players who have nothing better to do. Thank you for tuning in, whether live here now on YouTube or on the podcast platform of your choice. I'm Sultime, and we are in the Discord tonight with Romance Girl, Green Stego, and the Sally Bug. Can everybody hear me okay?
I can.
Hello.
Hello, word.
And those sound levels are looking nice. Okay. So, actually, truth be known,
So I get a notification about the podcast saying, I hope Rich shows up. I was like, all right, I'll come.
Oh my gosh. How did you... I was
right on time, right on cue.
Perfect, right? Yeah. And you can see in the chat, I was hoping you would arrive soon to save the day, actually. No, but seriously, folks, we welcome Richard to the podcast. Roman numeral 2, Ghost VX2. I think that's a car reference, isn't it? In there?
No.
No.
Just put a bunch of stuff together and came up with that.
It doesn't refer to the original Halo Ghost?
No.
No. Yeah.
It just sounds cool.
Did you even play Halo?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Okay.
I've played them all.
Yeah. Really? Wow. Yeah, you've probably played way more Halo than I have. But I can tell you...
All my friends had a 360. I had the original Xbox. So...
Oh man, I was just going to say I think I have you beat because I played it on the original Xbox, but as usual, I did not... I was not able to one-up you on that one. Well, let's get right into it. Tonight's highlights and topics are always a, sort of movable feast here. And the last two TWABs, quite frankly, did not have much. 2 weeks ago, the one before yesterday, or day before yesterday, the one going back 2 Thursdays ago, was an update on the in-air accuracy tweaks that they have made. I don't know. Has anybody noticed any big change there when you're flying around or jumping and trying to shoot something?
I don't jump around.
When I'm on my wall, I could just float through the air. So.
Yeah, honestly,
But
I
It
keep
took
my...
away the floating for a while, right?
Well, I don't know any... I'm not in the air that much, to be honest with you. Certainly not in the air very much on PvP, because I'm used to getting shot out of the air a lot, so maybe that's why I'm hesitant.
The only time I'm in the air is in Team Scorched.
Yeah, oh, well, that is the exception. Yeah, true. Me too.
Makes sense.
Yep, you want to be as floaty as possible in Team Scorch, right? Well, speaking of Scorched, Season of the Haunted, Sally Bug and I actually got on earlier today, and I think we're all caught up now with the story missions.
They're great, aren't they?
They're kind of good. I mean, that seems to be the big forte right now is the storytelling, and I don't want to do any spoilers, but how caught up are you guys in Texas with that?
We're all caught up. We've been doing it on the reset when we can.
Oh, cool. All right, so we got through Keitel, and I think that's as far as it is with the...
Yeah, the mission, the latest mission.
If you didn't know, I didn't notice this before, But if you go around the derelict, there are these like red auras, and if you go into them, you have like Ghoul talking, Aldrin talking. They'll just talk to you and stuff. I'd never
I've
noticed it
had
before.
that trigger a couple of times, and I never really knew what was triggering it. Now I know.
Wait, I wonder if there's a triumph associated with.
Probably.
Yeah.
With getting all of them.
Wait, what's
I don't think I've seen those.
Where are they? Are they
around the Leviathan? You can find them in the other areas.
You just walk through
they're
them?
like, yeah, similar. They're like a red ball of aura. It's like a red aura. You
almost like a nightmare, like the red you see around the nightmares.
Yeah, something like that. And then obviously you get their nightmares talking to you and stuff.
So it's a little more storytelling then.
Yeah, and they're the people in the nightmare aura thing. They're actually directly talking to you.
Oh, okay, yeah, because we haven't had our nightmare. What would be our nightmare? Peter Dinklage, right?
What would be your trauma that you work through?
Our first ghost. Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, let us know in the chat. The funny thing is that I was talking to Time about this. Is just the idea of like confronting your past and confronting like the thing that haunts you the most.
That would be my old vault from Destiny 1.
Your D1 vault.
Specifically it going missing.
Right.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying as always, enjoying the storytelling. I think they're doing a great job with it. And
And the next highlight I think so. We're all caught up in Season of the Haunted. Of course, I felt like there were some hints towards some foreshadowing of the next season towards the end of the dialogue there, especially with Eris talking. And that's always fun. Start getting you excited. And it's always exciting to find out what they're going to do the final at the end of the season, right? They wait for some sort of segue, I guess I would call it, event type thing. And the other two things Sally Bug and I were pondering, and we actually were watching Dado do this. Wow, I'm really hot tonight on the mic. Just turning my volume down a little bit. The weapons crafting, the state of weapons crafting, since Witch Queen launched till now, they streamlined the currency and made it just one currency. And it's gotten mixed reviews. Mostly the complaints come from it's too grindy to get all of the, deep sight weapons that you to get the patterns, and then having to grind.
I think it's more. I honestly don't like the leveling. I think it's too slow. A lot less XP.
Right.
The leveling of the weapon once you craft it.
But once you get it to level 7, right? There's no more leveling.
No.
Yeah, unless you get one of those. What are they called? Or is it Memento? You have to get your weapon to level 30 in order to see the shader of the Memento.
Oh, I didn't know that. The Memento is sort of the end game drops. Although I think you can get.
Yeah, so they basically want you to get it to level 30 if you want to see the shader. The Memento you put on. Right. But if they did like a thing once a month or something where they increase the XP of leveling weapons, like they do with like Vanguard boosts and stuff like Vanguard ranks.
Oh, for the shaped weapons?
Yeah, if they did something like that where you could just get increased XP for
you're suggesting that.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I want.
I've suggested taking like a consumable that gives you increased
something like a consumable.
Right, just for a
That makes
period
more
of
sense
time,
than what I was
right?
saying. Yeah,
Splendid
not like a whole
idea.
week. I was saying, ignore what I said.
I would think
Yes,
like
yeah, fair
at
idea.
each vendor, right? So if you go to the Vanguard, you go to Zavala, you could buy something from him. It gives you a boost
Yeah,
if
maybe
you're
get
going
like a
to
certain
go
rank
into
with them.
strikes, right?
Get like a rank
Yeah.
1, rank 16, you get a boost in strikes. Something like that.
Right. I was just
That could be nice.
when I was talking with Sultan about it, it's like I mean, maybe I'm not doing the right activities, but I'm just not getting any patterns. So I
mean,
know I know I'm a casual player. I know I don't play that much. So I'm going to use that as kind of like the.
There is one weapon that I haven't managed to get dropped in Deep Sight once, and that's from the dungeon. And it's the machine gun from it. It's the old Season of Opulence machine gun. I haven't had it drop once, and I've got 80 clears on it.
Wow.
I mean, maybe casual players don't know that the seasonal activities, you can get one guaranteed red frame from the seasonal vendor per week.
If you've
Yep,
leveled
and
that up, right?
Yes. If you
Yeah,
level
and
that up.
also you
Yeah.
can guarantee one if you have an opulent key if you rank up.
Right.
The-
There are
Yeah,
sources
but
to guarantee.
so I would say that they are very rare drops. And also, like, I recently crafted the Wellspring weapons. I would say that was a pretty grindy, but
Oh, that was hella grindy.
I worked on a few catalysts while I was doing it, so I wasn't like just focused on the red frame. I could just be like focused on getting as many kills for my catalyst as possible.
Right. And that does that still rotate?
Yes. And so like you want to check Bray Tech or wherever you check your
Right. And it's daily, I
to know
believe.
which one.
It's a daily reset thing. So
And Dim will show you when you hover over the weapon what your progress is on how many patterns you've unlocked for each weapon.
does it now?
Right.
Really helpful.
Yes, it does.
I did not know that.
I relied heavily on that. I think it's a recent update, but if you click on a weapon that is craftable, it'll say on the top, 0 out of 3 or 1 out of 5, however many.
Right.
It'll tell you how many you have left to attune.
Yeah, it's like it's got like it's a rollover in the upper left crafting pattern, and it says pattern. When you roll over it, it comes up and says pattern progress. 0 out of 3, 2 out of 3, whatever. That is good to know.
It's also in Trance as well, along with patterns and catalyst. You can just look in there as well.
Right. Oh, Dim never fails. Yeah. Well, one thing I was going to say is we watched, Sallybug and I watched a Dado video last night on his take on weapons crafting. And the way he's looking at it is that it's just a safety net for bad RNG. And that you shouldn't necessarily pursue it. Because if you think about it, when you craft your perfect God roll weapon, you don't have to worry about it anymore. I mean, I think there's very few people who are going to farm for that weapon after they've crafted it. In fact, most people will probably just put it in their vault and not use it. But suppose you're trying to get like a forensic nightmare, a certain roll or something, and it just doesn't happen for you. But through the course of playing, you eventually do get the opportunity to get that perfect roll through weapons crafting. So he was looking at it sort of as a backup safety net for poor RNG rather than something to be like get all the patterns, get everything crafted, get everything leveled up.
The good thing about it is it works like an exotic as well. Once you've crafted it, you can just delete it and then you can just recraft it anytime you want.
Right. Right, but it also it's a lot of materials that go into that too. So,
the way I approached it, because I'm not actually that interested in god rolls per se. I don't even like I never really farmed an activity to get the right roll of a specific weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I would say
Right.
that's not my approach. So for craftable weapons, I would say it's just another avenue that's more like a check-off list thing. Like it's like a fun thing
Sure.
for me to go for.
Yeah.
Right.
And I would say like also for my glaive, which is the only one I have upgraded, the like upgraded perks for. I would say that was fun, but having done it, I would only need to do that for weapons that I really, really enjoy using.
Right.
Right.
So it's not a necessity to level up every single weapon you've crafted, just the ones that you really are gonna keep using.
Right.
And
That
I
makes
can't
sense.
say from experience, but it seems as though those enhanced perks really don't give you much of an edge compared to the
No,
regular.
I think they need maybe a slight buff. It's like there's only a slight difference, I think, but I
Right.
think they need a buff.
Yeah.
That's what my understanding is. They didn't lean hard into that and make it really enticing. Maybe for serious people who need that extra half a second on their cooldown or something, off their cooldown.
That's another new dim perk I want to plug is if you hover over the perks now, it will tell you the numbers associated with each perk. So for Rampage, it'll give you the percentage increase, the actual percentage increase in damage for each kill.
Just when you don't think you can love dim anymore.
Hold on. Let me see what you're talking about here. So if I roll over oh yeah.
Click on a weapon. And then roll over.
I noticed that. I noticed they call it community insight. Right?
Yes.
So I've got headstone here, right? And community insight is on precision kill spawns a large stasis crystal enemy death location. Rank and file combatants spawn a medium stasis crystal. So it's a little more information.
Well, for one, so that's not a really good example for ones that have like actual.
She's talking about ones that like actually increase stats.
Yeah. So
like
if you
Rampage
have
or
Outlaw.
Kill Clip.
So here's Outlaw.
Heating up. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Outlaw says community insight. On precision kill, 70 reload speed with a 0.9 duration multiplier for 6 seconds. And then the enhanced version is duration increased. So yeah, I mean, it's got like the stats of the stats.
Yes.
Pretty freaking cool.
That's nice.
That is very nice. Yeah. If you're tracking those sort of things,
Or just curious.
Right. Yeah. So weapon crafting, okay, but I've got to say, I think Romance Girl and I are very similar in that it's a checklist for me to craft these weapons, and once I craft them, if I really like the weapon, or let's say I don't have a really decent legendary sidearm that I like, but I like the one that I crafted, then I'll go ahead and level it up and take it to the max and find out what I want to do with it in the enclave.
It is also very satisfying to just dismantle any other legendary drop you get after that.
Right, because you know that, yeah.
Purpose of those drops,
I've definitely been doing
for me,
that
I'm
with
like, yes, I don't have to think about syncopation anymore because
Freeze up your
not
vault.
even
Yeah.
right. It's not
Freeze
even
up your vault.
It's like, oh, okay, I got another, Elmira or whatever. I don't need to worry about it. Whatever. It's not going to be better because I crafted the one I want. So,
one thing I don't like about weapons crafting, and I don't know, is this you're going along, and you're getting all these deep sight weapons, and perhaps you're just maxing them out and extracting the currency, which is called what do you
resonant
get?
alloy.
Alloy of some sort.
Resonant alloy.
Resonant alloy. And you can hold up to 1,000, I think, is your max. I don't know.
10,000.
Is it 10,000? So, okay. So here's what I don't like.
10,000.
Is you max that out. And I actually have 10 of the alloys that you get, the Ascendant alloys, right? Mm-hmm. I have 10 of those and 2 in my Postmaster now. So what I don't like about weapons crafting is I feel like I need to keep crafting in order to take advantage, because now I'm not making any progress on those resonant alloys. Even if I am making room in my vault.
Or the other option is to just vault those weapons. You don't have to turn them in.
Yeah, now you're using up more vault space, but they did give us the extra 100, and I think that's
and the other option too is just to do what Romance Girl did and take a look at which ones you don't have, which weapons you haven't crafted yet that you need to do, and go farm those.
Like, I focused on which weapon I was going to craft next, and then if I was maxed out, I would hold on to the weapon. So right now I have like 4 weapons. Yeah, it takes up some vault space, but
no, I hear
once you do craft it, it does actually cost quite a bit to craft it. So you're gonna empty your wallet and be able to cash those in as soon as you craft another weapon or reshape another weapon.
Uh-huh.
Are there any weapons that you would recommend? Just putting that out there to the group. Any ones that you would recommend crafting that are craftable? Also, I've overheard this, and I'm not sure this is actually the case, but it could be that the patterns you get from this season are only available this season. Is that correct? Is that like a FOMO thing? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, because last season's weapons are you can still get them and craft them.
Yeah.
I'm still working on last season's weapons. I'm still getting the 1 per week from the Risen Umbral Energy.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know about, maybe they're talking about drops. Like, I don't know if last season's weapons are still in the pool of deep sight drops, of just like randomly getting them. That might be what they're talking about.
Well, the Palmyra B is one of the weapons I did too. Like you, Cassia, I did the glaive. So I followed, like, Equagan put out a video on a melee build for the, a melee roll for the glaive, and I went all out on it and did the enhanced perks and everything, and I'm really quite happy with it. I love it. It was the original Void Glade that we got, I guess. And I'm just in dim now looking at the weapon patterns. And primary special. And the other one I recommend the other one that I went all up on and leveled up was the Palmyra B rocket launcher, which is really nice.
Yeah, mine's level 5 right now.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there was one, like a pattern that I should be, like if you haven't.
Just go for types of weapons you're interested in. A lot of people are going for like Callus Mini Tool this season because they like that sidearm.
Oh, Sally Bug loves that weapon.
SMG.
It's an SMG. Actually, that's funny because that is in my loadout. I'm going to be talking about that. So, don't know if I have the patterns, but I don't have dim open right now, so I'll have to look and see.
I think Stego is going for Austringer.
Yeah,
I just finished that one.
I need one more for Drang, and then after that I'm going Austringer. I haven't got a single Callus Mini Tool or Beloved to drop.
Now, where do you get those patterns? Those are just dropping from the event,
Well, you get a guaranteed one if you level up your Crown of Sorrow. You can
Right.
buy one every week from the Crown of Sorrow vendor.
And also,
I
if
just
you do the
opened a
7
proof
missions with,
This
you do 7 missions with a bound
And I know the
presence.
opulent keys
Go
can
from
drop
there.
them sometimes,
And
right?
Really?
Opulent chests.
Bound presence.
Yeah.
If you do it, if it's your first time, you've leveled up the, I forget what the crown,
Crown of
right?
Sorrow,
And you
yeah.
use bound presence for the first time that week, it will give you a deep
That
sight
should
weapon.
give you a deep
Gives
sight
you a
weapon.
deep sight
Yeah,
weapon.
so I will say the whole process is convoluted, and as many Destiny processes are.
What else is new?
I was
And
lucky enough to
also,
get 2
there's
deep
just-
sight weapons from that.
I don't know how you would tell without going into the depths of your triumphs or whatever to know which of these red frames are like important red frames and which are just another red frame that you're feeding into your other ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, again,
No.
dim is your friend there. I mean,
Yes,
I could see
exactly.
having two dim windows open, one with all the patterns and the other one with your inventory, right?
Yeah.
Going back and forth.
Yeah, I couldn't think about the crafting at all the last season
Yeah.
when Witch Queen
Yeah,
dropped.
I
It was
just
like,
got into it this season. Yeah,
Cool.
I was way behind.
I haven't quite yet. I did craft a few during Witch Queen, but not too many. So just the
2-2.
And before we talk
Anyway.
about our particular loadouts, you were talking about Callus Mini Tool there for a second, Sally Bug.
right.
I have a question for Sally Bug, because I already own the dungeon. I have not done Duality yet. Richard, I know you've run it 70 times or more. And I guess Sally Bug's question to me was, should I buy the dungeons? And I say dungeons plural because you have to buy both of them, right?
No, I mean you buy both for one. Like you buy a dungeon key, it gives you both.
Right. You
Yeah,
can't just
so
buy
you
one dungeon
do
for
buy
$10. You have to,
both.
or however many silver it is. You have to buy it you just buy into the dungeons for this year, right? Witch Queen, the 2 dungeons that are being released. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, like we got the dungeon right now, Duality, and then next season will be a raid, and then the season after will be the next dungeon.
Another dungeon, right? Yeah. So it goes raid, dungeon, raid, dungeon.
Okay.
Yep.
Should Sally Bug buy the dungeons? How would you answer her, Richard?
I don't know, because I buy everything.
Yeah, but you know
Dungeon's
Sally Bug
great.
pretty well. You've known her for a few years now. And so, do you think
Well,
she should
what
buy
about
them?
you, Romance Girl and Go? Because you guys are in a similar boat as we are, right? Where one of you has the license.
Yeah.
Do you just buy
No,
both?
I buy the seasons and I'll buy the dungeon key when I'm ready to do the dungeon.
Okay.
I usually support any expansion that Bungie puts out into Destiny because I'm just a huge fan of the game. I don't really think, like when I bought the 30th anniversary pack, I didn't really ponder like, am I going to get my money's worth on this? It would just seem like a really fun experience, and I was willing to, support the project.
Well, I definitely bought that because, partly what you were saying there. But I did that 6-man activity quite a bit. Or was that free? Was that part free? I don't know. Sometimes
Yeah,
I get
that's
confused.
a good
I
question.
think Dares of Eternity is free. I think it's just a dungeon.
I think Dares of Eternity was for everyone, but the dungeon was exclusive.
Right.
I mean,
guess
in the back of
that's
your mind, Galahum was whispering, "Buy me, buy me."
Yeah. I mean, and that's where I'm like, gosh, I bought that last one and I ran the dungeon 2 times, maybe 3.
When you buy a movie ticket, do you feel bad that you only got to see the movie the one time?
Right, that's true.
Hell no, I'll buy the DVD afterwards.
I don't know if that's the best analogy. I feel like, yeah.
For sitting through a 2-hour movie versus running a dungeon a few times, I think that's a pretty similar.
I mean, I sat through a 4-hour.
Well, I mean,
version
it's how much
entertainment.
a movie costs these days is about $10.
Yeah.
Or if you get food.
I did sit through a 4-hour movie, and then I bought the DVD.
Did
That
you
was
get
4
food?
hours. Yeah.
Did you get?
It was,
Did
what
you
are
get
those? What are those
your
called? The
breakfast
pork
meat?
rinds?
hell yeah.
Yeah,
Pork lumps.
He got those malted milk balls. Whatever.
Oh, that's right.
What are they called?
Jesus.
Maltesers. Yeah.
If money is the main concern, though, I will endorse publicly on the podcast Microsoft Bing rewards, the Microsoft rewards. There's an Xbox app you can sign into and click around and get achievements, and it'll give you points that you can
There you go,
then
Sally
exchange
Bug.
for gift cards.
That's got Sally Bug written all over it.
I've done that quite a few
No, it
times.
doesn't. I did. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think she's going to do it now.
I literally have bought a year's worth of Game Pass with it for our household, and
Wow.
I still have like probably $100 plus.
Sometimes that
more
goes
I
towards
could
my,
spend on it.
Sometimes that goes towards my seasonal bundle that you get with silver and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I use it's my it's what I use to buy silver with
So it's an
the
app?
Microsoft points.
It's
Yeah,
Microsoft
but-
Rewards basically, and if you log in on like a Game Pass game, you'll get like points and stuff. And if you unlock achievements, you'll get more points. I think a £5 gift card is what it is over here. It's about 6,000 points, something like that.
Mm-hmm. That's not bad. Depends.
Sometimes you can
Look
enter
into
like you could put your points into like it's like a what do you call it?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on the podcast, but there's also an app you can buy called Rewards Automator that will do the searches for you to get you extra points. You just like let your phone go for 5 minutes or something.
That's got Sally Bug written all over it.
Yeah, that sounds easy.
There you go.
Did you guys know that Maltesers
But,
were first sold in the
you didn't
UK
hear it
in
here.
1937?
So that's almost as old as Richard is.
Oh,
Ouch. I'd put him in his 70s. Be an old man.
I'm 25 next week. Okay, I'm not that old.
You're the baby of the casuals.
Baby of the group.
Baby of the group.
Well, he was until Nicholas joined.
Oh, true that. That is true.
Jerome's the youngest in spirit, though.
The youngest in his mind too.
Are we on track? So the answer to should Sally Bug buy the dungeons is
It sounds like yes,
Okay,
but do it
I think
through
sounds
I
like
think
the
I
that
have a
apps.
problem.
I mean, I think she'd really enjoy the exotic sword, and the Storm Chaser is the best DPS weapon in the game. So, you want to kill raid
Yeah.
bosses quick? Storm Chaser.
And it is summertime. It's not like I don't have the time to like chill out and play.
Hell, I'll run you through it.
Play
But
a
it's-
dungeon with Ghost
Will you
EX2.
buy it
He's begging you.
if Richard
He's
runs
sitting
us
here
through it?
begging you.
Sally Bug?
But the thing is that like really my summer started like 2 days ago, right? So like my true free time summer. So
If
I'm
you're concerned that you haven't run the other dungeons much, I'll run you through them as well if you want.
here we go.
All right, so
You do owe me a Pit of Heresy run.
Yeah, that's true. We
oh,
talked about that last
you know
time.
what? We shouldn't bother Richard so much.
Full time would do that.
I will
too.
do
He
Pit of
likes
Heresy with
Pit
you. I
of
like that. I
Heresy.
soloed it, so I know it pretty well.
I only need to
Same.
get to the second encounter.
Yeah.
The only
all
dungeon I
fail.
haven't soloed yet is the newest one.
Did you know there's a consumable you can take before going into the Pit of Heresy? Did anybody know that?
Yeah, something to do with
To get extra masterwork materials.
Altars of Sorrow. Altars of Sorrow, you do that and you get points towards it and then you unlock and go in on it. Something like that. Never used it, to
I
be
need
honest.
to get a mouse
Hymn
wheel
of
that doesn't make a
Desecration?
noise. It's
Yeah,
the
that-
hymn
I've
of
never- I've never used it.
desecration, and it greatly increases your chance of a weapon drop from your next necropolis or chamber of suffering encounter in the Pit of Heresy. The effect lasts until the dungeon encounter is completed. So you just pop one of those babies and you go in there. Maybe
You're looking for the weapon, right, instead of the gear. Is that what it's?
I suppose, yeah. Didn't they
'Cause you're
increase
gonna
the
get
drops or
something
something,
at
or
the
they
end
made
of it.
made
It's
the gear
just-
high level or something? They did something to improve the rewards from Pit of Heresy.
I think
It's
they
the
gave them
final
specific
encounter where
perks.
it's high gear.
They gave him updated perks. You're saying, Richard?
Something like that, or they gave
Okay.
it some perks that you only get from those weapons in that dungeon or something.
Oh, almost like a raid weapon then. Finest Matter Weave. Make sure you take one of those. And the other consumable is Rainmaker, which everybody knows they should be taking those every time you start a Destiny session.
Speaking of running through, we do still have to get soul time through the raid.
I actually back to can we backtrack a little? I will say also, if you're looking to make Glimmer, I was trying to go the Rainmaker route and it wasn't working. So sometimes you just have to up the Glimmer mod in your Ghost.
Yes,
And
that's the
that
way
did
to
it
do
for me.
it. And
There's
There's
Yeah.
actually another way to get Glimmer. Like, you bet what Zer's going to sell, and if he sells it, you get Glimmer.
oh, that's a good
Dang.
tip. That is a
I mean, there's talks of gambling in Destiny anyway, so
yeah.
why not?
A
Getting on some of that.
guaranteed Glimmer farm for me is Skywatch in the Cosmodrome. Just go around in a circle and open up the chest.
Put on that Glimmer boost Ghost.
Put on the Glimmer boost.
And it will take you
Treasure Finder.
And have a bunch of those red weapons that
do
you're
your bounties.
trying to get the
Doing the
materials
same
out of.
thing, running the Wellspring, farming for those red frames.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say anything earlier, but we do have some a few brand new spots for the intros to the sections. And so I am going to move us on to the next section here, if it's okay with everybody.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Paracasual Loadouts. What's come out of your vault lately?
All right. Yeah. So it's the Paracasual Loadout section now, where we ask the question, what's coming out of your vault lately? And anybody want to go first on this? What have you been using that might be more recent that you picked it up within the past 2 weeks since our last episode?
Well, I've been trying to find a solar build that I like enough to want to keep playing solar. I mean, Blade Barrage is fun. They definitely buffed it, and it's great. But it's just not quite my play style. So I've been playing around. I've been playing around with a few of them. I did the Assassin's Cowl one, which I think it pairs with, I forget which aspect it goes with, where you get, if you get a kill with your throwing knife, your knife comes right back. And the Assassin's Cowl is every time you get a powered melee kill, you go invis. And so we all know that I like to be invisible.
Yeah. Because
you
you don't like to play the game, so if you're invisible...
No, I like to play the game as an invisible hunter. Let's put it that way.
Well, there is a way you can do both. Be invis and use solar. Get the new exotic dungeon sword.
Yeah, well,
Is that another hint?
For that. Yep, I'm gonna have to farm for that.
Subtle.
But the Assassin's Cowl does a pretty good job of that too. Because if you pair it with your throwing knife and you use the throwing knife to kill just red bar ads, because it will one shot kill them. Probably not in higher end types of activities, but I've been using it mostly, honestly, most of the things I've been doing have been the story missions and Sever. So,
you found all the bobbleheads yet?
We found one just by accident. For that, so that was fun. And then I've also spent some time with Shards of Galanor, and that one's fun. You get your super back a lot. And today I played around with the Star Eater Scales Blade Barrage.
That requires too much effort for me.
Yeah, that one was fun too, but yeah, there's too many things you have to kind of put into place, so you have to think about it. So I'm less, but I have heard also to try the other things I'm looking into are the Worm Husk Crown or the Six Coyote, which is my favorite exotic anyway, like getting the double dodge.
Yeah, I think you would wear the 6 Coyote to the grocery store if you could.
Whoa. Dodging everyone.
Just dodging around everyone.
Yeah.
And let's see, what else?
The new Caliban's hands, Hunter rounds are supposed to be good with the throw knife.
Yeah,
I haven't tried it myself yet.
I've heard that, but I don't have it yet. I haven't really tried. I don't know if I'm at the level yet to try do the lost sectors yet, so
no, you could do them. You're ready.
Probably.
Yeah, same old.
But I probably would just want to go back to my void.
I do need to take some time out to get
the build if I was going to do that. I could try it with the solar.
Have you tried the solar build for the Hunter yet? With the healing when you dodge? And then when you get thrown off kills, you heal even more.
Right. So that's the other thing is trying that. Like if I put on Wormhusk Crown, which also regenerates your health, and then doing the double dodge, or doing my 6 Coyote.
Yeah, that's probably better than Invis for staying alive, actually.
So.
And you combine that with
but I'm playing around with it.
And Callus Mini Tool with that new solar perk, that I don't know how you say it.
Incandescent.
Yeah, that you combine it with that, and then should be golden.
That's the other thing that I've been playing around with is my Callus Mini Tool. I have one that I really like. I can't actually remember what the perks. I think it's Threat Detector and Feeding Frenzy.
I have
it's
a good
not
Callus.
Perfect, but
that's one you can craft. You can craft the Callus one.
But I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm having a lot of fun with the Callus Mini Tool. I've been keeping that one on quite a bit. And what else in terms of weapons? I pulled out No Time to Explain. And
you going to PvP?
No. I'm not doing PvP. I'm just doing PvE, but I've been enjoying it quite a bit.
I tried that, and I'm not very good with it anymore. Like, I just switch back to Outbreak, and I'm fine.
I realize how much I really like it. Now, of course, Outbreak is another one, but I definitely am spending some time with some.
I've been using Outbreak quite a bit every time I've been doing trials. Now and again. Works for me.
Nice.
Well, trials.
All right.
Romance Girl.
Me.
I have been working on my Ariana's Vow catalyst, so I've been using that a lot. And it took a while for it to grow on me, but now I feel like finally got good with it. And I'm sure by the time I finish the catalyst, I will hate it again. I also crafted the exotic glaive for the hunter, so I used that a little. And I know people were saying it was underwhelming. I think it's gotten buffed since then.
Right.
I think they all got buffed.
They all got buffed
to use.
Yeah.
It's just fun. So I had fun with what I used at that when I wasn't using Ariana's. And so I also
I've just been sat in this battleground and just been shooting enemies and not even started the fucking thing.
You're playing Battleground while I'm talking about my Destiny loadout?
Yeah, I'm sorry. should I quit?
I don't care.
No.
I'm just teasing. I don't. That's a fine thing.
On this channel, we do not endorse quitting.
Multitask.
No, we do not.
I also finally got all the darkness rifts in the swamp world.
Swamp World?
Oh, we've only gotten
You
one.
mean Dagobah?
Swamp world?
Yeah, Dagobah, I love that reference.
There's swamp ground.
The Swamp Realm.
So I was using Parasite for that, of course. I looked them up. I did not find them organically. I will clarify
Is that a triumph, or what's going on with all those darkness risks? I think I did that too.
It's just a triumph.
We did.
It was just for fun.
No,
I think it's
did we
towards
do all of them?
I think it's
full time?
towards the gumshoe seal.
You do need it for the Gumshoe title, which is the Witch Queen title.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I also collected all the moths because I figured while I'm at it, let's just get the collectible.
Nice. I don't think I
Thank you.
have all the
Towards the
moths
gumshoe
yet.
tile.
No, we don't have all the collectibles. It tends to be like the last.
Every
thing
now
we
and
end
again
up
when we
doing,
do these
so.
podcasts, I just want to go off, end it, and then go play Destiny. Now I feel like getting all those moths for some reason.
It's fun. It was fun to just split off to the side and go into my own world and just collect moths.
Yeah.
We also need the bobbleheads.
Yeah, we need bobbleheads
Yeah, I haven't
too.
collected all the Callus bobbleheads yet.
Some of those things you have to wait till they reset as well, or like either a daily reset or a weekly reset. I don't know. Some of those.
Nah,
things.
the bobbleheads you could just select and go in.
You can select.
Oh, nice. Okay,
There's a vid on all the locations currently.
I see. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So we talked about Sallybug. Well, myself, I've been running the Sunbracer Warlock. That was probably my Paracasual loadout last time we did this. I just love this. I just love getting the melee kill and then having unlimited solar grenades.
Great, isn't it?
It's you just light up the room with it, and it's like Christmas every time, and watching everybody melt in it, and especially those.
Wait, who melts at Christmas?
Oh, I don't know, but it's like the heat miser, right? It's those solar grenades that have like the lava shooting out of them is so cool. I mean, there's something about that appeals to the 5-year-old in me. Also, I've discovered I love the old solar fusion rifle, the Dreambreaker. It hits like a tank, and I don't know if it's the roll that I happened upon, but I am loving that weapon right now. And the sound it makes, it's just got a very conventional, almost like a Gatling gun sound, like links of chain running through some metal. And it's so cool. And I was just having so much fun with it. So that's been my latest exploratory loadout in terms. Who haven't we heard from? Stego.
I can't take off Xenophage.
Oh.
And Lorelei Splendor.
Oh, the lore. I started making a Titan build, and I need that Lorelei. I need that helmet. I need to do the Lost Sector for that.
Is that a Titan helmet?
Yeah. You like it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Titan helmet. There's a build on it which makes you basically invincible.
Yes, and I started doing that build, and then realized, I need the Lorelei. Lorelei?
You really do.
Lorelei or Lorelei?
It's helmets today.
They sell it at Helmets today. 20% discount.
No, it's helmets in the Lost Sector. It's helmets.
Wait, which Lost Sector?
Okay, we're ending the podcast so I can go do the Helmets Lost Sector.
K1 Revelation, I think.
I don't mess with the K1s.
K1 Revelation.
I'm like, nah, I'll wait. I do not like the K1s on
No,
Legend
and that one's
difficulty.
exceptionally tough, right? Because you've got like
Yeah.
This is saying
three
it's
different.
boots today. What are you talking about, Sally Buck?
Well, maybe it was helmets earlier.
Before reset, like
Before
yesterday.
reset. It's been a long day.
She's
Let's
losing
look
her
at
mind.
Right. It will be helmets again, July 12th in Metamorphosis.
All right.
12.
There we go. You heard it here,
4
folks.
days
And
away.
and Richard, you mentioned some of your loadouts you've been playing with. Anything else?
Practically the same stuff.
Yeah.
Fatebringer, Storm Chaser, Galahorn, Summoner. They
And-
get the new Trials Fusion.
And of course
New Trials Fusion Stasis.
a stasis fusion rifle, huh?
Yeah, it goes in the kinetic slot. It's called Burden of Guilt.
Wow.
Ooh, yeah. Cross just posted a review of that one. It looks really good.
I might have to.
Yeah, but you have to play Trials.
You have to play Trials. Is Trials still worthwhile? Is it? I have no idea. I haven't been in Trials in ages.
We haven't been in the
in terms of getting your
Crucible
ass
in
kicked,
ages.
Yeah, it's the same old, same old. You just go in and
It
get
can't be
owned.
worse than Rift.
Oh, you speak too soon. That's coming back next week.
Next week, right?
No.
Sally Bug and Soul Time will get to experience the beauty that is
The
Rift.
pain.
Are we ready for our next segment?
We are.
Let's.
I feel sorry for you guys already.
Yeah, let's do it. It's time for the Kindergarten Playground. Tips for beginning Destiny 2 players with your host, Soul Time. All right. So we're continuing our little tips for beginners segment. I wanted to give a shout out to Rick Prim Molina, whose fantastic guide was the inspiration for this segment. He is I guess he runs blueberries.gg, and he came up with this beautiful, beautiful guide that is world renowned in helping Guardians, young and old, find their way through the complexity that is Destiny 2. And we've all been there. We all remember starting. But could you imagine players who have come in to Destiny 2 not having played Destiny 1, not having played any Destiny 2, and trying to make heads or tails of just what the heck is going on? And so along comes Rick with his beginner's guide. So we're talking about planets and game modes this time. Last time we talked about choosing Hunter, Warlock versus Titan. And so when you first load into Destiny 2, you have this overwhelming menu. If you look at the director and try to look at it through a beginner's eyes, it's like, what do I click on? There's so many choices. You've got the destinations, and then within the destinations, more destinations, and then you have all the game modes or the playlist. So we're going to talk about the game modes today, and there's 3 basic playlist activities or game modes, right? We've got the Vanguard, Crucible, Gambit.
And not the seasonal activities and stuff.
No, we're not talking about that yet. Those are separate. So and here's the thing: it might be worth noting that free to play. I still don't know what's free and what's not. But I think broad strokes is all the destinations are free except activities are either seasonal or Witch Queen. I'm not sure if Witch Queen destinations are open to free players. Like, can you go to the Throne World as a free player? I'm not sure. But certainly free to play, you can do Vanguard, Crucible, Gambit. I'm pretty sure you can do those 3. So you load into those activities from the director, which is the main menu of the game. And so for beginners, the Vanguard is basically like a mini mini dungeon mode. It's match made, so you get match made with other players unless you go in as a group of 3, and the teams are called fire teams in Destiny. That's your group. And you basically slay everything in your way until you get to a final boss, and then you get a chest at the end with rewards. And I have to say that the strikes have been around from D1 days, and they were kind of my first intro into playing with multiplayer that wasn't like PvP, that was collaborative. That was like my intro to that, and I just remember the experience was amazing. Working with 2 other strangers to take down that big walker in the Cosmodrome back in D1 beta.
I will say this while we're on that topic.
Yeah.
One of 2 things. One, if you can find 2 other people, there's probably some good sites for like doing LFG for new players. Because sometimes when you get it's RNG with who you get paired up with.
Right.
So if you're getting paired up with people who are just running the strikes to get the experience, or they're farming for something in particular, right, or whatever, and they're just rushing through it, it's kind of difficult, especially if you haven't been, because you end up getting pulled through a lot.
Right. And it doesn't give you much of a chance to learn the environment and the objectives.
Or learn the mechanic. Like if there's a
of the
specific
strike.
mechanic,
Sure,
you don't always learn what the mechanic is.
Right.
So
you get pulled
if
through.
you can find,
right.
Right.
Exactly.
So if you can find, I think that there's probably some good websites. I wish I could recommend them. Probably that blueberry.gg.
Yeah.
People who would just like be willing to run blueberries through, run new players, run kindergartens through those types of things, because it is very much, I find it kind of frustrating to do a new activity when I'm with a bunch of other people who really know what they're doing, because it takes me longer to figure out what the actual mechanic is, because other people do the mechanic. It's kind of done for me.
So maybe we'll set aside time to talk about LFG and clans and things like that. I'm sure that's coming up in the guide. But the second one is Crucible. I guess I would recommend sort of everything in this order. Vanguard, try that out first. Try doing a strike, even with a couple unknown people. Even if you get pulled through, you get a feel for what it's like. Crucible is the next. That's the PvP arena in Destiny 2. It has several modes in and of itself. I would start with Control, would be the place to go. And that's 6v6, right? Is that right?
Mayhem would be the best. I'm joking.
It'd be. I actually like Mayhem. So yeah, you have Control, and then there's competitive. There's Survival and some other modes. But starting with Control, which is just going around and sitting on some control points, is a great, I think, intro to Destiny's PvP. And of course the final of the 3 major playlists, this sort of bread and butter playlist of the game to play with other players, is Gambit. And that's kind of a mixture of PvE and PvP. It's got a cooperative element to it, which you spend most of your time in, but each team can invade the other team's space and try to slow them down by taking them out. And so, yeah, I would suggest in that order of experimenting and getting your feet wet in cooperative and PvP as well. Do the Vanguard strikes, figure out that, and then experience the Crucible, and then finally Gambit. for there. And so, in addition to those 3 playlists, and for each of those, I might just harken back to what we talked to before. For each of those, there are vendors that you can get bounties from with little objectives, like get kills with a certain type of weapon or doing something with a certain subclass. Keep in mind there are bounties available for those each specific. And those vendors are located in the game's main social space, which you should definitely check out and run around in for a while and explore and talk to each of the vendors and see what they have. And that's the tower, the famous tower. This is where you find most of the vendors, and quest givers are in the tower. The other social space is the helm that you see in the director that's above the tower, mostly reserved for seasonal quests and vendors in the helm. We've all spent plenty of time there. And finally, are the actual planets and destinations you can go to, like the Throne World, Europa, Cosmodrome, EDZ, or European Dead Zone. Both of those are on Earth, the Cosmodrome and the EDZ. The Moon, Dreaming City, and Nessus. And you may just, I think, for a beginning player, there's nothing wrong with just diving in and pushing the buttons and seeing where it takes you. But for a lot of people, that can end up in frustrating situations in the game where you're under-leveled for an activity or you don't know exactly what you're doing. So having some guidance is good, and we will, of course, link to Prim Molina's fantastic guide in the description below. And that does it for this edition of the Kindergarten Playground. Anything to add to that? I just kind of went through the game modes, the two main social spaces, and the planets. Anything to add, anyone?
Well, that's the basics.
Yeah, and good point, Sally Bug, about LFG and getting with a clan. And
it's better with friends.
It really is. Those playlist activities are better with friends. You can solo them. It helps to be experienced a little bit and know what you're doing to solo them. But there's nothing to replace playing with other people in this game. It really is nothing like it.
I was going to say, I recommend, I think we did this with our granddaughter when we were playing around with it. When you're first, like, if you're new to first person shooters, just kind of the game mode in general, like Destiny, like brand new to it. There's something to be said to just going down to the planets and doing the vendor bounties.
Good point.
And just patrols.
Yep.
Just right. Do those patrols and used to like the different guns and the different gun plays, and then you usually can get usually run into those public events. And then you learn what those public events are, and those are good ways to level up too without like getting like head first into the playlist activities. It's a great way to get used to like which guns you like actually feel most comfortable with.
And you can do that solo exploring at the destinations. And you can do it solo. Yeah. Yep. It's a good suggestion, actually.
And the lost sectors are, you know, like if you go, and I always recommend the Cosmodrome. No, not the Cosmodrome.
EDZ.
Where you land at Trossland in the EDZ. Go up and see Devram. There's 3 lost sectors just in that map alone, just in that little section. So you can go around, you can do some patrols, you can go into those lost sectors, and they're relatively like they're not that difficult. Just to get used to the gunplay and get used to the movement of your guardian and the jumps and the dodging and the different subclasses and all of that. It's a great way to just kind of play around with it in a casual way.
All right. Well, let's move on to our next segment.
Better than what I did with Drone. I just said I lost that was higher than them.
Green Stego's Mod Academy.
It's time for Green Stego's Mod Academy. But before we get into that, what did you say, Richard, about Jerome?
When Forsaken came out, I went in this lost sector and he wasn't the right power for it. And he couldn't damage this Vandal and it just killed him instantly.
Right, which is why I recommend the Trossland lost sectors, because those are...
just probably try not to ever pair up with me. I might send you on a lost sector and kill you.
Take it away, Green Stego.
All right. This week's this
Bye-week
segment, this Mod Academy is we are light on new mods. The last time they've added new mods, if you don't count the raid mods, was Season of the Lost, before Witch Queen even dropped. So they're not adding new mods, which I gotta say, thank goodness, because I'm still waiting on finishing my collection. I'm still missing like a couple, and it is annoying the way to get caught up on old mods that have expired. You just gotta pray that Banshee and Ada have the mods that we talk about in the Mod Academy. Solar 3.0 has launched since we've done a Mod Academy, so I wanted to shine a light on some of the fragments that are in the highest rotation for me as I'm doing my builds, and then because that's where you start with your build, and then from there you add your mods in.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that lately I have been interested in a YouTuber by the handle Plunder the Booty.
He's got some solid builds.
He's got some solid builds.
Plunder the Booty. We will put him in the description.
Yes,
that's where I get my builds from.
It's like a pirate thing. Anyway, the fragments, which also, before we get into this, I think I've mentioned this before, but I do not like the visual aesthetic
the gameplay you're watching
of the fragments from Stasis, Void 3.0, and Solar 3.0. Not that I don't think they're cool. I think they're very cool. I just can't tell what they are by looking at them.
Right.
Which is completely abnormal for Destiny UI. Whenever you're looking at a mod, it's like, oh, that's a mobility mod. That is a mod that affects my grenade in some way. That one's yellow. That means that it uses charged with light. So they've, in my opinion, they need to simplify I would benefit personally from a simplification of the visuals on the fragments for the 3.0 subclasses. Anyway, the Solar 3.0 fragments that are in highest rotation for me and my builds, number one is Ember of Ashes, which increases the Scorch stacks. For some reason, by a varying amount. It's not just like a flat out doubling of all the Scorch stacks that you do. It usually is about double, but sometimes it's more than that, and sometimes it's less. So Ember of Ashes, increase the Scorch stacks that you inflict on your enemies. Ember of Char, your ignitions spread Scorch as well. Ember of Torches, solar melees give Radiant to you and nearby ally guardians. And Ember of Solace, Radiant and Restoration last longer for buffs on yourself. So those are the 4 that are most commonly in rotation for me. Sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit more experimental, I'll check out one of the ones that help me with my ability energy, such as Ember of Singeing, class ability recharges when scorching, and Ember of Searing, defeated scorched enemies grant melee energy. I've been using that class ability one lately with this Loreley Splendor helmet because it procs off having your class ability up. So I've been using that one lately. Anyway, also because Solar 3.0 is new, a lot of people are using Solar Well mods. So whenever you're doing any kind of group activity, if you are also using Well mods, then you can benefit from your allies making these elemental well mods. So there can just be elemental wells all over the place, and everybody's benefiting and everybody's making them. And there's never been a better time to use solar elemental wells. So that's what I've been using for any of my builds. My favorite ways to proc elemental wells are elemental ordnance, where your grenade kills make a well, melee well maker, melee abilities make a well, elemental armaments, a matching elemental weapon kill has an escalating chance to make a well. And here's something that I've learned recently, the mod Bountiful Wells, which came to us from, I want to say Season of Lost. It says that it allows well mod procking mods to stack, but it also provides a stack as well. So let's say you have elemental ordnance, grenade defeats create a well. If you put on bountiful wells, then killing an enemy with a grenade makes 2 wells. And then if you were to add in another elemental ordnance, then defeating an enemy would create 3 wells. So bountiful wells is usually one that I like to tack on to make double wells for double the fun. And then to get a benefit on picking up those wells, my favorite ones are Font of Might, giving you a weapon boost, stacking with Radiant, which is very nice. Just needs to match the subclass that you're using, so have a solar weapon. Well of Life is great because the solar wells grant increased regen. And then don't forget Elemental Charge. If you're still interested in dabbling with Charged with Light, there's a bunch of wells that are out there. You probably don't even need to put on mods that proc wells. You can just have an elemental an elemental charge mod on and stick with a buddy who you know is creating wells. So those are some great ways to go back and use Charged with Light as well. And that is this Mod Academy.
Well, Jack fell in the well. Well, thank you very much for that, Green Stego. We appreciate it, and I think we're ready to move on to another one of our regular segments here, and that's the non-Destiny media consumption.
Non-Destiny media consumption,
in which we offer what we've been consuming outside of the game over the last couple of weeks. Sallybug? Godzuki.
And yeah, that was fun. Earlier this week,
my DVD of Godzilla.
Earlier this week.
Wait, time out here. Time out.
Yeah.
You have DVD of Godzilla, the 1978 animated series?
Oh, not the old one. No, I've never seen that one. I'm on about the 2014 one.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
More modern one.
All right. No Godzuki then.
No, this is the first time I'm hearing about it too.
Godzuki. He's like almost like a baby Godzilla, but
he can fly. He's got wings.
Yeah. Cheating.
Can fly.
Can you imagine what Godzilla can do when he can
fire,
fly?
but he can't, so it just comes out like little puffs of smoke. And he's a little bit he's like the comic relief of the group.
Yeah, he
he's
is.
Like always
really
like
is.
falling over things and spilling.
He's a bit of a klutz.
He also sometimes comes to the rescue, so you never know.
Right.
In addition to that, we also watched earlier this week, we rewatched Shaun of the Dead, Neil's sister who happened to be in town. That was fun times. What's the name of that actor? It's like a comedy, two of them, and they did like 3 movies together. They did Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and
I know one of them's Simon Pegg. I can't remember the other one.
Yeah, Simon Pegg, that's right. And then End of the World, or The Pub at the End of the World, or Pub at the End of the Universe, something like that.
Yeah, I've seen all of them as well. They're great. Funny.
Yeah, they're quite fun.
Yeah. I think it's either
we wanted to watch something lighthearted and
Have you tried Paul yet? The one with the alien? That was funny as hell.
Which one?
It's called Paul.
No.
Yeah, it's got both of them in too, and it's got like an aliens. It's really funny.
Oh, we'll have to look that one up. Paul, Paul?
Yep.
Right, definitely gonna have to look that one up.
Is it I want to say Frost is the other guy's name.
Nick Frost, I think it is.
Nick Frost.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah. To check that one out, Sally. See if it's on Amazon or something.
Absolutely.
Who else? Romance Girl, you got anything good?
Oh yeah, Stego and I have been playing more Nintendo Switch. We recently finished. We 100%ed the game Later Alligator, which is a
nice
small like narrative puzzle game. A lot of fun, very charming, great animation. And we're currently working on Chicory, which has an amazing soundtrack by one of our favorite video game soundtrack artists, Lana Rain. But it's also, the game itself is very charming, cute, funny, and fun. It's like a coloring book style adventure.
Neat.
And you played that on the Switch as well, the Chicory?
Yes.
Wow. Are you
I
playing?
haven't touched my Switch since Pokemon.
Have you? Are these digital downloads or are these physical copies that you're buying?
They're digital downloads. We frequent the e-store whenever there's a sale.
Okay. Wow. You guys are definitely the indie game contingency in the group for sure, informing us.
We love an indie game.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
I feel like I'm not exploring that enough. I'm wrapped up in my AAA world.
Game Pass has a lot of good indie options.
Right.
For those who don't want to buy these little games.
I'm looking at that Chicory,
as well.
a colorful tale. Looks like mindless fun.
Yeah, and later Alligator was so funny and so fun.
It was hilarious. The characters were just, all of them, so charming, so funny.
Yeah.
And they're all alligators.
And they were all alligators. Just living their lives in alligator New York City. Also, the things that we've been watching recently, since we've last podded, we saw Nobody, which is an action film starring Bob Odenkirk.
Interesting.
That one's available on HBO Max. Highly recommend if you're in the mood for
It's a little bit of like tongue-in-cheek kind of humor, like a over-the-top Taken-esque action revenge film.
Nice. And
Bob Odenkirk can do anything.
I know. Apparently. I was going to say he can do no wrong. Yeah, he's great.
He really made being an unstoppable action hero like really real and believable and relatable.
Nice.
We also watched the latest season of Umbrella Academy, which dropped on Netflix, which was fun.
Any good?
Oh yeah, I had fun.
Yeah, I watched all the others. I just haven't seen the newest one yet.
Yeah, we like the newest season. Definitely. They keep upping the ante. That's for sure. And we also just watched the last 2 episodes of Stranger Things.
Right, never seen it. To-do list. Definitely.
Yeah, I think Sally Bug's ready for Stranger Things.
I've seen Stranger Things.
I think she's been avoiding it because she thinks it's a horror.
No,
it's
haven't.
spooky.
I watched an episode inadvertently with my niece and nephew who were visiting their mother, and I was visiting my sister. And they were watching it, and I watched it, so I get the gist of what it is. It's more supernatural, I
don't tolerate scary stuff. So I
got the impression it was more supernatural than it was.
Yeah, no, like it's like 80. Well, the latest season, there's a few, like gross out scenes, but.
Right.
It's just the nod to like that whole genre of 80s horror movies.
It's so well done.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah. It's good time.
Good casting.
Everyone's watched that in this house apart from me.
Oh, well.
The holdout.
Yeah, you and Sally Bug both holding out on it. So.
Well, yeah, me and Pelham was in here. We watched someone else, to be honest.
I was going to say, I can't believe Pelham watched something without you, but Pelham's also holding out.
Every time I put someone on the TV, he just moves his chair and starts watching as well.
You have good taste. What can he say?
And then when I want to watch it, he moves again. Like if I'm like, it's a different day, and I'm like, oh, just screw it, I'm gonna watch this. He just slyly moves and starts watching. I'm like, bro.
That's sweet, though.
Yeah, he is your baby brother. Some things never change. Well, Richard, what have you been watching or consuming media-wise?
Obviously, I've been
Pelham's chair turning around.
Yeah.
I've been playing Ark recently because there's an event on, so just trying to do stuff on that. And show-wise,
what's the seasonal event called?
It's a summer event. It's called Summer Bash.
Summer Bash.
It's the last summer event they have on it. They're not having that event after this.
So take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's like they do like 3 times XP for like taming and stuff like that, resources and stuff. And
you said you were almost watching a TV show.
Yeah, 2. Watch it. It was called Upon the Boys.
Right.
Like.
Oh yeah, you mentioned
the last episode came out. So and then I started watching the Kenobi series, Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Oh, we watched that.
Is that on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
You recommend?
Yeah, I think it's really good.
And it's a young Obi-Wan Kenobi, I take it.
Nah, this is set after episode 3
What?
of what he's been doing after episode
It's
3.
in between episode 3 and A New
3 and
Hope.
4. Yeah.
But it's like 10 years after episode 3.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's been.
Oh,
10
so
years.
he's an adult.
To make sure to let you know that it has been 10 years.
Okay. All right. I'm kind of in the mood for that. I've been getting back into Star Wars lately, so for sure.
Obviously, you were waiting for that Star Wars new Fallen Order game.
I don't think you'll find it lacking.
Nice.
I think it's great.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
I liked it. I thought it was really cute.
Yeah, I did watch the first episode of The Boys. That was good. That was really good. Very different superhero take. Reminds me a little bit of a real life version of The Tick, if anybody remembers back that far.
It's like these aren't your mom's superheroes.
Exactly.
It's like an extreme take on superheroes and like what they actually do and shit.
Right.
Everyone thinks they're heroes, and
but it's all
stuff, and they're
allegory,
actually
which I
not.
really like. So it's kind of funny, tongue in cheek too. Speaking of LawTube that Sally Bug was referring to before, she's obsessed with it. There are some key YouTube channels that she goes to, and one of them is this fella down in Virginia named Rob, and his channel is called Law and Lumber. So he's a lawyer, but he's also a woodworker. So he does woodworking videos, but he also does law videos. And he started a really interesting series called, I don't know, it's something like Trials of the Century. And so he's doing he's getting a historian friend on and another lawyer from Canada. And the three of them are looking at transcripts of old trials. And they did the trial of Lizzie Borden.
Was so good.
Which was really good. It was like totally thorough. And I learned so much about the actual trial because, of course, there's so much legend and lore surrounding it. And there's been a couple Hollywood interpretations of the events. But basically, Lizzie Borden is a young woman who lived in Massachusetts, Falls River, Massachusetts, in the late 1800s. And I think it was, like 1890s, Sally? 1892,
Yeah, that sounds right.
1893, maybe. Late 1800s. And she was accused of murdering her mother, her stepmother, and her father with a hatchet. Giving them, brutally murdering them.
Whoa!
Yeah, with a hatchet, and it turns out there's a good chance she was actually acquitted by an all-male jury at the time, probably misogynistically because they didn't think a woman would be capable of it. And in all,
it's almost the opposite of misogyny, right? Well, yeah, I guess.
No, it was stereotypes. Like, how could this small woman pull off such a thing? And it's probably true too, given the brutality of the crime, and the
they
amount
only had circumstantial evidence. That's for sure.
Right.
What'd she do? Get grounded?
No. Well, no. She was
like in her 40s.
Yeah, and so it was just fascinating.
She was, quote unquote, an old maid. That's what they called them back then.
Yeah, and what's really cool is
Which trial?
Somebody discovered the murder weapon like years later, like 10 years later. It was on a roof nearby. And
that's strange.
They still have it, and
hide it. Okay.
And Sally, maybe you could speak to this. They actually tested it for DNA to see if there was any blood left on it. Did anything come of that?
I don't know. I didn't actually do the follow-up of that, but I should actually.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that.
It was really, really, but it was very interesting. Like just the evidence and the guy. I recommend this. I think it's like an hour and a half long. Was it about an hour and a half?
No, it was like 2.5 hours. It was really long.
Yeah.
They went in depth.
It was really in depth, and the historian guy kind of like imagine yourself in, and he really kind of describes the scene and walks through, and they show pictures of the house where it took place and really describes kind of the setting and so forth. But yeah, and then the lawyers kind of take over. So he kind of sets the scene historically, and then the lawyers take over. The two lawyers take over and talk about the evidence that was compiled and how the prosecution just kind of botched it from the start. And
but it's part of American folklore too, and
yeah,
like I remember being a kid and hearing there's like a nursery rhyme about Lizzie Borden. It's like
I thought she had done it the whole time.
Yeah, oh yeah. We grew up thinking that it was what's the nursery rhyme? Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks, and when she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. I remember
that's how you start a horror film, man.
I know, but it's like kids. I remember being a kid and people jump roping, like girls doing jump rope with singing doing that rhyme to the jump roping. It was like really weird. Yeah. So.
But you don't think it's likely that she did it?
I think it's very unlikely she did it based on the evidence that they had and like recreating the timeline. They did have a pretty good timeline. And it
was like a hot summer day, and she was dressed in what women normally are dressed in.
Yeah, like 3 layers.
And, like in order to like actually pull off picking up an axe and bringing it down on someone.
Yeah, they would have been drenched in blood. She would have been drenched head to toe in blood, and she wasn't.
Like it would have been all in her hair, and she lived in a house that didn't have running water. It's not like she could have run somewhere and quickly washed up.
Right.
This was like pre-running water, like the ability to like go and clean herself up and be back intact for when the police came and all the witnesses who saw her like shortly after.
This is now a Lizzie Borden podcast.
Yeah, this changed into a Lizzie Borden podcast.
Anyway, I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Or at least watch a documentary on Lizzie Borden.
Or
the Christina Ricci movie.
I've done it.
I don't know. That's probably very glorified and very.
Yeah, a lot of dramatic license taken.
Yeah.
I just accidentally dismantled a 1570 drop.
Oh no!
Wow.
By accident?
Multitasking.
This is the awe-inspiring tale.
We've all done it.
I did this at the start of the season as well.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, there's nothing. We all feel your pain.
My highest piece of gear is 1563, so I don't know what he's talking about.
My highest piece of gear, yeah, but just dismantling a very high piece of gear, like a pinnacle gear. I've done it, just like you're so used to.
We've all done it. We've all been there and done it.
Just no.
Destiny is at least 20% dismantling an item.
Yeah,
that's true.
If not more.
Yeah, I've got 2 classes at the minute of max power. The only one left is my Titan because I haven't really used it that much.
There's some good solar builds for the Titan, like we were talking about the Loralee headpiece.
Yeah, but the solar builds on the Hunter and Warlock are more fun.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
you're only saying that because you don't have a Loralee Splendor.
You don't have the Loralee.
Yeah, of course I do.
Just haven't used it.
No, I've used it. I've used it in Crucible quite a bit. And they just shoot you and just sit in it. Feels like cheating, to be honest.
Well, okay.
Yeah. The solo build on the Hunter got me a solo flawless run in the Prophecy dungeon. So
nice.
I'm not gonna say it's crap.
Usually barrage.
Richard.
Yeah.
Richard.
Mm-hmm.
What light should one be before doing a master dungeon?
1570. Wait, what did he say?
He's doing the math on paper.
Oh, yeah, he's working it out on his triboard.
He's carrying the one.
The math.
He's poking at a calculator right now. What are they, 1580?
1590.
Oh, they're 1590, so you got to be 1575.
I would think at least 1570, but probably
it's
more.
Not
more.
kind to the non-grinders.
No.
Casual players.
No, us casuals way down here in the 1560s.
I mean,
yeah, I'm still at 1560. My highest gear is 1562.
I'd love to get my hands on some artifice armor, but if that's the distinction, the hardcore players get the artifice armor, and the casuals,
don't.
Just live with don't.
I mean, the hardcore players, they should have a way to show for it, and artifice armor
That's
is
true.
like, that's up there.
It's a way.
Like, ooh, I want that.
I want that new Lizzie Borden armor they're coming out with.
Well, hell, if you want to run a master one, I can always grab Pelham and we can run you through it.
Yeah, but you say that, but you haven't even asked Pelham. His time's worth something.
No need to ask him. He'll say yes anyway.
He boots up the Destiny on the TV. Pelham turns his
screen,
turns his chair over, and says,
back.
"Oh, is that Destiny?" and then, and that's it. He follows suit, falls in line.
I'm sure he'd like anyway,
history.
because I've been after some artifice armor as well, but Nicholas hasn't been wanting to run any of his Pelham yet, so.
I still say we take Soul Time. We got to get Soul Time through the raid.
Oh yeah, for sure.
One of these
Summer
days.
is the time to do it.
I've been ran the dungeon I'm not dungeon, the raid in a fucking while, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know everything about it.
All the more reason to do it before we lose it completely.
Hmm.
Lose what
this
to do.
time I do want the
completely?
deep sight weapon.
I've only got 2 weapons left to do, and then I've crafted all the raid ones.
Oh my goodness.
Wow,
that's a lot of
that's
runs.
Crazy.
That's a lot of runs.
Well, we gotta hit that secret chest so that we get the guaranteed red frame.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Last time I didn't want it. Pelham called me a liar.
That doesn't sound like Pelham. I think he made that up.
Gotta run a raid anyway. I gotta get warmed up for what raid comes next season. King's Fall or Wrath.
Yeah, it's one
Either
of the two.
We don't know which one yet.
Those are good options.
Yeah.
Either way.
You don't think it's going to be Crota?
Hell no. That's a dungeon at best.
So people say, but I don't know.
I bring it back.
They said the next raid's going to be a big one, and Crota is basically a dungeon, so it's probably not that.
That's true. Crota is not a big one. It's probably King's Fall then.
Wrath and King's Fall are both big.
Either way, they're both really good. The raids.
Yeah,
Give me
they
Siva
are.
or Hive. I'm not bothered.
That's a win-win for Ghost VX2.
2 Ghost VX2.
Crafted
Right
Smite
on the
Mirren.
pod, I think.
Crafted Smite Mirren? Hell, I'll take it. Crafted Genesis Chain? I'll take that too.
Well, all right. I've got some potato chips over here that aren't going to eat themselves. That's crisps for those of you over in the UK.
I know what they are.
You've been hanging out with us Amerikaners enough to know those things. Or watching enough American television. Yeah.
Get you with the zinger.
Anyway, let's wrap this puppy up because it's getting late and I want to get on Destiny. I honestly do. I really do.
Gotta collect those mobs.
I do. Well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Romance Girl, Stego, and, of course, Sallybug here. We try to do this every other Saturday night, generally speaking, at around 8 p.m. Eastern. And you can check us out on the YouTubes, follow us on Twitter, and also listen to this podcast on the podcast outlet of your choice, ever expanding out into the universe. Until next time, goodbye from all of us here at the Paracasual Destiny Podcast. Keep looking up. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.